Hi, my name is Dr. Christine Pettit, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through a guided activity to get to know a part of yourself a little bit better. This is a journaling exercise that pulls from the therapeutic and coaching modality of internal family systems. So the questions that I use here come from that practice. I'm a leadership coach and organizational consultant, and I'm creating this so you can use it to get to know a part of you a little bit better. Now, what am I talking about with parts? I recognize that if you're not familiar with this language, it might feel a little strange. Like, am I really talking to different parts of myself? This is just about building awareness of the multiplicity of our minds, that we do get tugged in different directions, and that these parts emerged to protect us in some way, whether that's to help us fit in, to get acceptance, maybe to numb how we're feeling. So just know that it's normal, and I invite you to stay open and curious as we move through this together. Just a brief overview of internal family systems, and then I'll link to resources so you can know more about that. But we all have parts within us and that impact how we show up in the world. There could be a part of us that wants to get really angry or does get really angry on our behalf when certain things happen. There could be another part that walks on eggshells or wants to keep you away from the limelight or attention. It could be a part that wants to control different parts of our lives, or maybe something that dives into unhealthy or unproductive behavior. So we have a multiplicity of the mind, and how that gets expressed. Like a lot of times in our language, it's common to say, well, a part of me wants this and a part of me wants to do that. There could be this polarity that comes up as well. So we all have parts, and this is an opportunity to get curious about one that has been showing up for you. So right now I invite you to think about a part that you don't necessarily want running the show in your interactions. You might have a part of you that says you need to withhold your real feelings, you need to be agreeable. Maybe there's a part of you that's afraid of being rejected, a part that procrastinates as a strategy, a part that is really critical of you or makes you feel guilty. There's lots of different possibilities here. And this is in contrast to what internal family systems calls the self. The self is in you and embodies qualities they refer to as the 8 C's of self-leadership. Those are calm, confidence, courage, curiosity, creativity, connectedness, clarity, and compassion. Of course, it could be a non-C word, but the idea is that you want that kind of grounded energy running the show. You want that kind of broader view instead of parts that aren't getting the whole picture or getting a picture of the situation that's not really current. So yeah, the other thing about parts is that they tend to have an outdated view of who we are and what we need. Many of them emerged when we were younger, and they really wanted to help us get our needs met. And that may have served us at that time, but doesn't necessarily serve us now. Parts could also emerge from societal pressures and the systems that we're navigating. Those can influence how we show up. So just keep that in mind as a brief orientation. And for this activity, you only need a piece of paper and a pen. Or if you want to speak your responses out loud and record them, that works too. You just need some way to capture your reflections on the questions I pose. So start by identifying a part that you've been noticing lately and you'd like to get to know just a little bit better. It could be something that's been reactive, loud, protective, or just persistent. It might also try to hold you back. And I want to invite you to connect with that part. It could be helpful to close your eyes. Take a few breaths and just notice where that part lives in or around your body. Maybe it's helpful to put a hand where you locate that part of your body. And as you connect with that part, I want to invite you to bring curiosity in rather than judgment or some other emotion that might come up. Curiosity, maybe some compassion for that part that's been working so hard for you. And if that's hard to do, totally understand. You might feel angry that part is here or shame about it. Maybe there's some sadness. And if that is happening, that is perfectly normal. You can pause this video and acknowledge what's coming up. Sometimes the judgment or these feelings that arise, they really just don't like the fact that this part exists. And so whatever you're feeling toward it, if it's not that openness, if it's not that curiosity or compassion, I invite you to acknowledge that, to notice where that lives in or around your body, to breathe into it a little bit, and then see if you can bring in some curiosity. We're not going to let this part take over. We just want to understand it better. So maybe those kind of feelings or other parts that come up need to know that, like, hey, we're just trying this out. In internal family systems, it's important to note that parts are not problems. They have jobs, and they took those jobs on for a reason. So this exercise is about understanding the part's logic from the inside. You can pause the video at any time and write as long as you need before coming back. So reconnecting with that part of you, see if you can imagine it outside of yourself, at a conversational distance, as if it's sitting across from you. If you have a hard time with that, that's okay. You can connect with it inside your body still, or just think about the core message it carries. But if it's possible, try to bring it to a conversational distance, as if you're having a conversation with it. And then we're going to ask it a series of questions. So, question 1, you can ask, what is your role? How do you help me manage my life? Think about what it does, not just what it feels like. Does it organize, deflect, push, shrink, perform? Go ahead and pause the video and write, what is your role? How do you help me manage my life? The second question is, what is the part's relationship with other people? How does it show up in your relationships with specific people or in general? Does it pull people in close? Does it keep them at a distance? Does it try to manage impressions? Go ahead and pause and write on that question. What is this part's relationship with other people? How does it show up in your relationships? Moving on to question 3. What positive intent does this part have for you? So you can ask it, what is your positive intent? What do you want for me? Ask that part. This one can be surprising. I invite you to stay open, even if the part's behavior doesn't feel positive. Every part wants something good for you, even if the way it tries to do that isn't particularly helpful. So again, feel free to pause and write on this question. Question 4, how does it try to protect you? What does it do when it's activated? What strategies does it use? So at the core of this question again is, how does it try to protect you? How do you try to protect me? part. Go ahead and pause and write. And then question 5. What is it trying to protect you from? What fear or wound is underneath it? I invite you to be gentle here. You don't have to go all the way in or dissect it. Just notice what arises. Go ahead and give this one a little more space to pause and write. Now, before we wrap up this part of the activity, I want to give you a moment to ask that part anything else that feels alive for you. So any other questions that you want to ask it? Then again, you can pause here. One question that comes up a lot in IFS work is, what age do you think I am? Often a part thinks you're much younger than you actually are. It's still operating from an earlier chapter of your life. So if that question resonates, go ahead and ask it. And if there's anything else you're curious about with this part, this is your time. Pause and write whatever wants to come. So as you wrap up your reflections, I invite you to come back into the present moment, to reconnect with your breath, with being here. And I invite you to acknowledge the part, to share some appreciation for it. You could say thank you for working so hard for me, or thank you for the good intentions that you have for me, whatever feels true for you. You can do that, say that to yourself, you can kind of send that energy, or you can say it out loud if you want. Take a moment now to reflect on what surprised you, what felt familiar. You can do a little bit of writing here or just pause to notice. And then, now that you understand this part a little better, what does it need from you going forward? You can spend some time here and write that out. As we close, I invite you to choose one word for how you want to relate to this part this week. Or if you're thinking about a particular situation or scenario where this part might come up, I invite you to think about how you want to show up. And maybe it's one of those 8 C words that we talked about earlier, one of the 8 C's of self-leadership. How do you want to actually show up in that situation or scenario? And what does that part of you that we've been working with right now need in order for you to do so? Our relationships with these different aspects of ourselves unfold over time. This is not a problem to solve in one sitting. I invite you to bring this new awareness into your relationship with your part. You can come back to this exercise at other points too, and with other parts. And that one part, it's not all of you. Getting to know it lets you say, I get what you want for me, and I'm going to take care of you in this way, but you don't get to run the show. So thank you for joining me for this exercise. I'd love to hear how it went for you, and I'm just sending lots of love to you and to all of your parts.